Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. As I always say, and I don't like to say always, but nevertheless, in this case, most wars are economic wars, are based on I want something material from you. I want a product from you, so I can benefit out of you. It's not like I want you to, a service. Not necessarily. I want my interest, economic, financial interest, penetrate your market, your country, and suck you dry of your resources, human resources or natural resources. These guys, and I'm going to say who they are, they came with a price tag for reconstructing Ukraine, or as they call it recovery, Ukraine's recovery. So the more damage you do on Ukraine, the more reconstruction is needed. Now, if you supply weapons to the Ukrainians to defend themselves, and you up that, these guys will up their military strikes. That means more damage in Ukraine. Therefore, you're going to have more investments, more recovery and reconstruction to do. With whom? With Chinese companies? No. Companies from Honduras? No. From Romania? No. From the same countries that somehow provided the weapons and somehow provided the politicians over there to start the war. So I will give you this price tag as of now of how much would cost to rebuild Ukraine. Like they built Iraq and Afghanistan. It was the same racket. That's the first topic. Second topic. Did you know that businesses are not into making a profit or making money? They are into upholding values. Did you know that? That when you have a business that they sells, Coca-Cola, they're over there supposed to sell values. Not the Pisswasser Coca-Cola. No. Did you know that? But hey, when they told you in America that money is green coming from heterosexuals and sexuals, it's the same thing. So now you have values all of a sudden. I will show you how a Norwegian company HALTS fuel to US ships, citing Trump-Zelenskyy clash. And I'm quoting, we have a moral compass. So a third country or company from a third country sees an argument between some baboons and they say, you know what? We don't like what happened over there, so we don't do business with you. This is Norway. Maybe Norway wants to be the 52nd state of the United States of America yesterday. So we have a moral compass. Really? I will explain Norway's moral compass when, let's say, Israel did something in the Middle East, or when the Americans in the past destroyed a few countries like Iraq, Afghanistan, Libya, Syria, and Yugoslavia. Where was your moral compass then, baby doll? Hypocrites. Next one. We have a dinosaur. The dinosaur is Mr. Lech Wałęsa. Mr. Lech Wałęsa is okay calling Trump a rude guy and Zelensky being the nice guy. Why? Because Mr. Lech Wałęsa, as far as I know, was promoted by certain kind of people and certain kind of groups. Wasn't he supported also by the US, wasn't it CIA, with his solidarity? Mr. And you know who I'm talking to. I'm talking on the phone with you, my Polish friend. I can't mention your name here, but you know who you are. Remember when you told me that this Lech Wałęsa is an asset and all that? Well, who kept him in power? Well, he comes and defends the Zelensky Stein. Interesting. We're going to talk about that one too. And the last topic for this video is Poland's Duda. And Duda is the president of Poland, not the sold out Trojan horse of Mr. Donald Tusk, the Prime Minister of Poland. He says, you know what, Zelensky should return to negotiations table with the US. What's going on over there? Well, I will tell you all about it. So let's start with the first one, coming from Ukrinform. Here it is. The cost of Ukraine's recovery and reconstruction is preliminarily estimated, this is very important, these two terms, to exceed $500 billion US. Why not, let's say, rubles? Why don't you say, I don't know, yuan, or you say yen, or you say, I know, whatever, US dollars. Anyway, so preliminary estimated, you know what that is? That is, we can always change that. Remember when you said preliminary? That was there, just like a glance. And estimated is like, I think we can. So that can always change. Now I say $500 billion. You know how much that is? $500 billion. That's half of trillion. So 500 billion. About more than a year ago, I think, it was from the World Bank or International Monetary Fund, the guys who are going to help with reconstruction. You got the profiteers? All right. They said it's about 750 billion. So 3/4 of a trillion. Now, all of a sudden is only half, but hey, that's the estimate. So let's see what's going on here. Let's read further. Ukraine will need $550 billion to recover in the aftermath of Russia's war aggression. All right, not because these guys started the war, lost, and now they say we need to reconstruct it. And who's going to do that? The Western companies. Oy vey. The previous day saw the publication of fourth rapid puppy undertaken jointly by the European Commission, the World Bank Group, the government of Ukraine, the United Nations, who support from the other parties. The 200-plus page report takes stock of 3 years of ongoing Russian invasion and aggression, estimating damage and losses, economic, social, and monetary, along with assessments of recovery and reconstruction nearly for 10 years, as of 31st of December 2024. The total cost of the reconstruction and recovery of Ukraine stands as $530 billion. What am I talking about? I know it was 750, which exceeds many-fold Ukraine's annual GDP. So they need help. Who's going to help? The banks. The banks, my friends. So let's see what we have here. Russian invasion, para-paka, tsaka-paka. The total direct damage to buildings and infrastructure alone, according to the report, hits $176 billion, suggesting it grew by $24 billion over the past year, from $152 billion estimated by the third report. Now, the Russians, you know, they attacked cities. They flattened cities. Buildings, highways, and in the cities mostly. Right? When I say buildings and infrastructure alone. Where was the Ukrainian army again? Oh, in the cities. Okay. So why would the invaders hit the cities? Because the Ukrainian army was defending the cities. Right? Right. Well, remember Paris in Second World War? It was decreed that the one said, you know what? We call Paris an open city. And the Wehrmacht rolled in. Was it destroyed? Niet. So here, these guys are defending each and every city, more destructions over there. They could have fought the Russians somewhere else, in the woods, in the beaches, in the landing ground. Remember Churchill? We're fighting on the beaches, on the landing ground, and we will never surrender. Yeah, but you broke your fucking empire after that, you baboon. And you were voted out of office for that particular reason. The same with Zelensky. You check mark all your list, and then you're out. Zelensky is at his last box. Last box, that's where he's at. So, my friends, the reconstruction is the same racket that happened in Iraq, in Afghanistan. We reconstruct. See how great it is over there. How many billions of dollars were put in those countries for what? Some people got fatter. So, my friends, economic war. But they lost. They lost. So, who's going to rebuild this? International Monetary Fund, World Bank. With whom? With American Western companies. And the military-industrial complex will come over there. We're gonna, support it. It's very clear. We destroy here, destroy here, and then we give more weapons to defend themselves. We fight in the cities. These guys hit the cities, and we're gonna come and we're gonna reconstruct. No, I want the Russian companies to reconstruct that with the Russian money. I guarantee you that if Putin would say, you know what, I'm gonna take a shit of 750 billion US dollars and Russian companies will reconstruct Ukraine in 3 years. I guarantee you the West will say, what? No. Why? They will lose the loot, my friends. Which is the loot? Contracts. Contracts to rebuild. So this is the racket, the first one. Next one, let me show you how companies have a moral compass. They're not into making money. No, it's moral compass. Well, you can say, Emil, you know what? You don't do business with bad people and so on. What are you talking about? Do you want me to remind you how the American banks, Mr. Prescott Bush, I think he was a banker. Was it Prescott Bush or it was a Kennedy? Which one was it? It was Prescott Bush, because Kennedy was an ambassador to Great Britain in the Second World War. We don't know that? Now we know. We don't know, we know. So it was Prescott Bush that was one of the bankers who did business with whom? With Adolf. And many New York banks who did business with Adolf. Was that moral? And not only that, remember, there were American companies giving some money to the same guys. So spare me. And was it throwing napalm on Vietnam a good thing? Who produced napalm? Not the Russians. Some American companies. So they didn't give a shit that time. Okay, let's look at the mass media. The mass media is involved in propaganda. For the bad sometimes. Remember how they said, they attacked us, we should go in Iraq, we should blah, blah, blah. Remember when they said it? Remember when the media, the free media, said we should attack Afghanistan, we should go into Libya, we should go into Yugoslavia, we should go into Iran. The same media sells the product for the evil actions. So spare me, we have moral fucking compass. And who says that? A freaking retard Norwegian company. So, Norwegian company halts fuel to US ships, citing Trump-Zelenskyy clash. We have a moral compass. I think Norway wants wants to become the 52nd, or maybe 53rd, because the second is going to be Greenland. 51st is going to be Canada, 52nd is going to be Greenland, 53rd is going to be Norway. And I know this, I remember when you in America were told, I know that for a fact, by your media, free world, okay? You were told, businesses, when it was the clash of, let them be, man, the gays are always happy. Just tell a gay that, hey, you know what? I disagree with your thing. He's going to turn from a gay to in a second, the tolerant. So they're gay when you tolerate them or give them rights. But if you say, you know what, I have my own values, they will turn from gay to not gay. That's how you turn a gay non-gay, by telling them, I think this is not, oh my God, touch them with a flower, they're going to be all passing out and crying somewhere in the safe space. So what do we have here? A personal experience, okay? Personal experience, and not only. I'm not a baboon, I see things, I do things. So here you have, remember when they said the businesses then, making the point with the same media operatives, money is green coming from this and money is green coming from that. So how about this one? And these guys got upset with Zelensky and Trump. They should not sell oil to Zelensky, not to Trump. I mean, the guy, the fucker, the thug, came dressed like a thug, came in the White House. All that behavior is a tough guy. He yelled at our officials over there. He is the guy who asks for money all the time, and he behaves like a thug. And then he gets obviously kicked out and smacked in the back of the head with his fucking delegation, and Trump kicked him out. We don't kick out a guest. Well, if the guest is as impertinent as these guys were, they would get out with a kick in the butt. Next one. But hey, we have our moral compass. No, you don't. No, you don't. Your country, Norway, gave money to Ukraine and placed sanctions on Russia. Do you think you're moral for that? In 2 or 3 years after the war is going to be over in Ukraine, I guarantee you they're going to tell us the truth. Tell you the truth over there. And let's see how this dinosaur gets activated. This is Ukraińska Prawda. Former Polish president criticizes Trump's behavior during meeting with Zelensky. I didn't know we had talk about here moral, how do you call it? Is this a religious class? What's going on here? If we talk about the morality and your behavior, Zelensky did 10 times more than everybody else in the White House did. And besides, Zelensky should have been over there showing, how should I put it? I don't want to say respect. Respect is too much for that guy. Humble, to be a little bit more like self-contained. Even if you want to say something, you're over there to suck someone's thing. You come over there, you want it. Not Trump, you want it, but you don't like the terms. Remember, they were supposed to sign a document, and he came over there, he took a shit, and he was kicked out. He thought he's going to play a game with Trump. Trump will never going to see him again, alive. and face-to-face until the forces behind Zelensky and the United States of America will tell Trump to do that. Someone commented, do you think anybody is telling Trump what to do? Oh. No, look at Israel. Israel and Trump, and you're going to find out who's telling who and what. All right, so former president. This guy, Lech Wałęsa, I was informed by this Polish friend of mine who I'm in contact. He says that he was on someone's payroll and FBI, CIA, I don't know, FBI, CIA, and so on. Lech Wałęsa, former Polish president and leader of the Solidarity movement, sponsored by whom exactly? Along with 39 other former Polish politicians, political prisoners have written a letter to U.S. President Donald Trump expressing their concern over the atmosphere of his meeting with Ukrainian President. So the atmosphere, oh my, I'm sorry. And here, they emphasize that the atmosphere in the office during the conversation reminded us of what we vividly recall from interrogations by the security service and courtroom trials in communist courts. First, I want to say something to Lech Wałęsa. You are alive. So fuck off. That's the first one. If the communists would have been as they were, for instance, in the 1950s, late 40s and 50s in your country, you would have been dead by now with your interrogations. Oops, accident. Man, I told you not 5,000 volts on these guys. Too fucking late, man. I know too much about interrogations and other things, man. I know too much about these things. And he's still alive with all those prisoners. This is like the survivors of the Second World War, you know what I mean? They're all there somehow. They're survivors. How in the fuck are you survivors, man? And so many. I'm not saying they should not be, but you know what I mean? So the same with Lech Wałęsa. I survived. That means you were not really as these guys did to the real guys. You were just okay here and there. I don't think shit on him. But now to come and say, based on the same these guys, in the name of the Holocaust, we demand this. Shut up. Go to your little desert and leave me alone. Let's move on. But we have here Mr. Duda. Poland's Duda tells Zelensky to return to negotiating table with US. Duda is, how should I put it? Duda is the guy who is on Trump's payroll, not Trump, United States' interest. Guy. The other guy, Tusk, he's on the other side with the same guys Lech Wałęsa is. Zelensky, you know what I mean? All right. So he's telling him to return to the negotiation table. Trump will not negotiate with Zelensky again. That's how I see it. But maybe, I've been wrong before. I definitely will be in the future. But I don't think Trump will ever meet this guy again. Like after that. But who knows? There are politicians, there are people who do business, they don't have a moral compass, right? Or they do have. Which one is it? Because if we have a moral compass, that little midget should not have been in the White House in the first place. He shouldn't have been allowed to be in Ukraine, president of the Ukrainian nation. So, spare me. Maybe I was a little bit too rough about Mr. Lech Wałęsa, but first, he was in the Solidarity. And that was, they fought for a liberty and all that. If those Poles in 1970s and 80s would have been the Poles from 1940s and 1950s, Lech Wałęsa, his bones will be already clean, white clean, somewhere we don't know where. Unless they put him in an acid somewhere and then they did with, like they did with others in the 50s in Romania and in Poland, I guarantee you that. So, it doesn't mean he cannot have an opinion, but based on that, spare me, my friend, spare me. And I think he's wrong. The atmosphere. All right. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.